And we are back again. It's your friendly neighborhood film watchers. It's Franklin Football back in the building, doing a twofer, burning the midnight oil. Of
Doing our
course, I'm
thing.
Brandon, and I got my man, Honey Grant, set it off Chris with me.
What's going on, baby? What's going on,
hmm
man? Want to run this
So,
thing back, man.
yeah, so Chris, obviously we have seen a lot of pandemonium happening in these Cowboy streets over the past, 4 or 5 days or so. We have seen the Cowboys posturing to release or trade Amari Cooper. We have seen the Cowboys posturing to release or threaten to release DeMarcus Lawrence.
Okay.
We have seen the Cowboys prepare to sign Michael Gallup to a long-term contract off of his injury. But then Michael Gallup's camp say, oh, no, this is $6 million at least off. That raises eyebrows.
Steve, the $6 million man, Steve Austin, The Rock, eyebrow raise. I see you. I got
you. Yeah. So, we've seen a lot of things. My eyes have been watching, Chris. I've been watching a lot, but even though we haven't been recording, my eyes have still been working, Chris. My keyboard may not have been working, but my eyes have been watching.
Yeah, you've been seeing, seeing how things,
My Twitter has still worked, Chris. My smartphone has still worked,
Okay. So what's your question, babe? What's your question,
my main question that I've been asking, Chris, is, with all of this chaos, with all of this pandemonium, with all of this hoopla, this brouhaha that has been going on ahead of the 2022 season, are the Cowboys setting up Mike McCarthy to fail?
Hey, man, listen, as you always put it so eloquently, man, and walk me into this thing, it's the Spider-Man meme. They're pointing at each other because the guy that they want is the guy they already have. Okay. This fantasy, this lore, this aura that one guy who left another team in shambles has, and the allure that he has is crazy to the yeah, absolutely. It's both of them, they're one and the same. But Mike McCarthy is being put in a position where he's going to, hey man, he's got the band playing music as the ship is sinking. He's on the Titanic because you can't take major pieces away and then say, go win. So, we may all be mad and angry with Amari Cooper because he signed a $20 million deal. But at the end of the day, nobody put a gun to anyone's head and say, sign him the $20 million. You got him for a year and a half on a rookie deal. So even after the first half of his rookie year in 2018, when he came in and took Rain Dakota from average to ordinary to exceptional and elite, you could have signed him early.
Absolutely.
Right. But you chose not to. Okay. Let's go and get that out the way. When you turned around and got often injured DeMarcus Lawrence, first year broke his foot, next year came and showed promise, came the following year, went almost a whole back half of the season without having a sack, ended up having 10 sacks when my man from the Panthers, when Greg Hardy was here, ended up having some sacks. You turned around and you got in the bathroom. The one time you caught Steven in the bathroom, rolling dice in the bathroom, right? He shot dice in the bathroom, saw DeMarcus Lawrence get 14 sacks, could have signed him early, decided not to. Franchise tagged him, right? Say if you did it once, did it again. He shook him in the bathroom thinking he wouldn't have 10 sacks. Dadgummit, boom. he got 10 sacks. So now you're stuck. So you could have signed him early. So the two guys you're sitting here right now talking about you got to cut or they got to take a pay cut, you were forced into a corner and signed him early. You turned around and signed him early. You went and signed a guy who was a great story, but was never a great linebacker. Let's go ahead and get this out the way, man. When they in 2016, when they got Ezekiel Elliott in the first round with the 4th pick overall, that was a great move. But the best move they could have made was getting the absolute steal, the best linebacker in the draft, who was not oh man, what the heck is that? Jalen Smith. The best linebacker in the draft was right behind him, was Miles Jack. And he went to the Jacksonville Jaguars. If you would have got Ezekiel Elliott and Miles Jack in that draft that year, you probably would have lost your absolute loving mind. Because Miles Jack is still a really, really good linebacker, even with his deteriorating knee and everything else. The only problem is he plays in Jacksonville. That's why you don't know how good he is. So you turned around and did that. You turned around and signed Zeke early when you didn't have to, all because Zeke lost his guaranteed money and you wanted to stand by your guy. You had went to war with the NFL behind his actions prior to the league. But at the end of the day, Zeke made enough mistakes that he ain't sit his ass down. When he turned around and got caught up with his girlfriend from Ohio State and it came out the first year and they went a whole year without suspending him, he never sat his ass down. You know, Brandon, you know, back in the day, there's certain times, you know, I know many people may not be a proponent to cutting ass, but a little switch, a little belt to tighten you up, to correct you, the rod of correction.
Hey, man.
You know, having to go get your own switch was tough as a kid, you know. But the thing about it, the rod of correction drove the foolishness out of you. Zeke wouldn't sit his ass down. You turned around. You got caught up with old girl. You got the super speeding ticket. You got caught in Ohio with your homeboy with the gun. You know, St. Patty's Day, showing off Tico Biddies on St. Patty's Day. Sit your ass down somewhere so you don't get suspended. But then when you get suspended, you blame the league. And because you got suspended, you lost your guaranteed money. And Jerry's going to bat for you. I mean, this is just layered in so many different ways. But going back to the main point, you have now set Mike McCarthy up with a situation where you've got an overpaid running back who needs to split carries with the guys behind him. You're about to get rid of your best route running wide receiver. And you have not seen your elite, your $40 million quarterback, whom I love with all my heart, be successful without Amari Cooper. And that's just facts, man. That's just the facts of the matter. So, and then on top of that, you go ahead and get the steal of the draft and getting Micah Parsons, a defensive weapon. And then to try to help couple the pressure off of him, instead of you saying, okay, let me go ahead and hold on to DeMarcus Lawrence, who now has complementary pieces around him. Because how many times, and I'm going to let you answer this question, in DeMarcus Lawrence's career, how many times did he had complementary pieces around him to help him make him better? A bona fide, a certified dog as a 3-tech, either Neville Gallimore or Osa Odigizua, a capable 1 technique in a Brent Urban, or a young guy you can get in the draft, you know, Jordan Davis, but I know he ain't falling to 24, or a solid 1 technique, or have an opposite component or pass rushing guy on the other side, or Randy Gregory, that is able to be, you know, so you don't have to double team DeMarcus Lawrence. You've never had that. He's never had that gift. Correct me if I'm wrong, brother.
I think that the year that we had the guy who went to Chicago, I forget his name. Oh man,
you talking about?
The guy? The guy on the opposite side. Robert Quinn.
Robert Quinn.
The year that we had Robert Quinn may have been the first year, of course, besides the DeMarcus Ware years, but that was before DeMarcus Lawrence was really
Lawrence had that, right. But even when you had Quinn,
year,
yep,
that may have been of course, besides 2021, that may have been the best complementary pieces that D-Law has had besides 2021.
Right. So you don't have you. So now instead of thinking that this is all this defense can be, the defense evolved. Remember, we were bottom of the league in 2020. So the goal, what was our goal walking into 2021? We said if this defense can get to what? Middle of the pack,
Yes.
we got a shot. And that defense ended up getting up, I think, about as high as 15,
Yeah.
right?
Middle
I
of the
think,
pack.
yeah,
Middle of the
right,
pack.
middle of the pack. And you had a shot. You had a shot. The only problem is your offensive line went down. So now you're saying, okay, this is the year we're gonna come and we're gonna clear the decks. We're gonna get rid of all the bad contracts. And in all honesty, you really can't. You can't get out of Zeke's contract, no matter how hard you try. You're in a position where you've got an aging Tyron Smith, whom I love, whom you said is getting old, but to the point you kind of owe him a little bit more money. And next year, not 2022, 2023 becomes the year you can get rid of him, but you got an aging player there and you've got to rebuild different areas. So
Yes.
if you were going to go all in, this would be the year you push everything to the middle of the table. Instead, you're turning around and you're turning the table over and saying that a guy who had an all-time transcending quarterback like the guy you already have is better than the guy you got. And he's got the magic elixir to make them a better coach. And that's why you're going to win down the future. You got to wait to 2023, 2024, 2025. And that's why I feel like you're doing a disservice to Mike McCarthy, the way the Cowboys are moving right now.
Well, you have to ask yourself, has the window fully closed, or are you shutting it, because the contracts that you're trying to offload, the team options don't really come into play until about 2023, 2024. I know Zeke Elliott doesn't come into play until after the 2022 season. So in 2023, the people that don't really like, who is it? I think Tyron Smith's coming to play in 2020 after 2023. If I'm correct.
I think I think at the end of this year you can move on from him, and it doesn't kill you. It doesn't kill you. I think the basic economics of we've always played this game of, oh, hey, the cap's gonna go up. We never thought that we would have a situation where the TV deal and the revenue and things would not be to the point of boosting it further than it already has. But I also think having the need for a viable swing tackle, which you do have, but hopefully you may have already drafted the Tyron Smith bridge in a Josh Ball, or he may be that guy. And you're uncertain with different pieces on the offensive line gives you cause for pause. But my problem is, you're saying the reason why you didn't win this year was because your head coach didn't have your team prepared to do what they need to do. But your head coach did exactly what the most iconic coach you've ever had did when he was head coach. Because Jimmy Johnson did not coach a single solitary thing. Follow me. He was the head coach. He had his hands in everything, but he let his people do what they needed to do.
Okay.
Butch Davis went and got head coaching job because he was great DC and people thought he could do what he needed to do. North Turner was great at what he did and people went and sought after him. Jimmy oversaw everything, but when he needed to make a call, hey, go do this. So we love Dan Quinn because what? Mike McCarthy let Dan Quinn cook, right?
Yeah.
We like Kellen Moore because he's had the number one rated offense 3 out of 4 years. And when he had the ability to do what he do, we let him what? We let him cook. You know,
Kind of fell off at times, but
you know what I'm saying? But he still had a top 5 offense. So we let him cook. Bones Fossil turned around a porous special teams. Should have got rid of the kicker. Really bothers you when a kid is a 5th round draft pick for the Bengals and he's automatic, and you got a guy constantly missing field goals and lost. You end up losing 4 or 5 games by less than 12 points, and your kicker kind of shot you in the foot a couple of times. But for the most part, special teams was good.
Yeah.
So, but all that goes out to all that goodwill, all that letting people cook went straight out the window. The moment it was 4 zeros, it was triple zeros on the clock, and Randy Dakota Prescott was on the ground trying to set a ball for a throw into the end zone, and you lose in the playoffs. All that goodwill went out the window. All that flipping from 6-10 to 12-5 went straight out the window when those things happen. Now we question every coach, we question every contract, we question everything, but more importantly, we question the head coach, thinking that a guy who turned around and left the team in shambles is the answer. Man, I'm not trying to hear that.
So how is he able to succeed in the next season then?
Honestly?
Or is he even able to with the way that they're posturing currently?
Hey, man, you know, we like movies, man. You're a movie guy. You know, we talk about movies all the time, man. You know, you remember that time in the movie Major Leagues, the first one, man? And they went and they realized that old girl was trying to sabotage the team and not help them win. And they said, we got to win the whole darn thing. Mike McCarthy has to pull off. He has to turn around and take a little bit more control in the offensive game plan. You're going to have to deal with the one thing they weren't able to deal with all year is health. Health is the biggest. Luck and health is the biggest thing that you got to deal with. You're going to have to get lucky in the draft. You're going to get lucky with the health bug. And you're going to have to get people trying to make magical seasons next year. You're going to need. But
they had luck in 2021 though. They had luck in health.
You ain't had no luck, man. You ain't had no luck.
They had all of the guys. They had all of the guys getting healthy at the right time in 2021.
I put you like this. I think we live in an era where we don't want to take light of this pandemic or this disease called COVID. And I believe that, and I know you probably seen too, everybody deals with COVID different.
Mm-hmm.
We see people get it, and we think because if you quarantine 2 weeks, you're good to go. Let's go forward. But I've always heard, and I've never had it, so praise God. But it affects everybody different, and I think COVID affected Zeke crazy in 2020, and I really believe COVID affected Tyron Smith pretty bad in 2021, and you didn't see the effects of it for those last couple of games. But I think he definitely showed symptoms of it going into that playoff game. That's the worst I've seen Tyron Smith get. That's the worst I've seen Tyron Smith get whipped since he was a rookie when DeMarcus Ware was throwing him around. And so I think it showed there. Lyle wasn't 100% of playing when he was playing, which, you know, he always had to look over his shoulder if he was coming in and out of the game with the Terrence Steele thing, which I thought was absolutely asinine.
Disrespectful.
Oh, yeah, very much so. And I also think at the end of the day, I know you say that Tyler Biadasz isn't the future. I'm saying that's his first full season. And so me and you can do a little deep dive study, because the aura and the legend and the greatness of Travis Frederick grows by the second. And I am not saying by any stretch that Travis Frederick was not a really, really good center.
Do you mean Travis?
No. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm not saying that Travis Frederick was not Travis Frederick, the great Travis Frederick, was not a really, really good center. But I think Travis Frederick lived off the ability of having great left and right guards. He had a Ron Leary. He had a Zach Martin. Well, Tyler Biotis got Zach Martin, and he got Joe the Milkman, aka Connor Williams, little Connor, big Connor, little Connor playing left guard, and they weren't the answer. So my problem is, my thing is, I don't think you need to go in the draft and AKA go in the first round, Tyler Lickenbaum, and go get a center. I think you do it. I think what you do is you get the best player in the first round. And we'll discuss a little bit more detail, but I think you
Yeah.
go get a serviceable, you go get a top flight young guard in the first or second round, plug him next to Tyler Biotis with a Zach Martin with his experience, with Lyle Collins a year away from his hip surgery, and a full offseason for Tyron Smith and a Josh Ball to figure out what you're doing at left tackle. And I think you help you stabilize the line for another year until you have to go in the first round and draft a left tackle. That's
Possibly.
all. That's all.
Um,
That's all I see, man.
Possibly.
Because
I mean,
I believe this off. Go ahead, brother.
it's gonna be one of those things eventually where you kind of have to replace, because I mean, you see right now, because Connor Williams is gone. Connor Williams is a free agent. He's no longer on this team.
Bye, Connor.
Tyron Smith is declining. Age is undefeated.
Age and injury has gotten to the
Yes,
point where in a 17-game season, you're praying for 10 games of elite
yes,
Tyron
yes,
Smith. And
yes.
so if I can get 4 games out the gate, give me a couple wins, my swing tackle comes in, plays serviceable for maybe 4 to 5, boosts his stock, get to the point you feel like he's good as a left tackle. Yeah, that's what I need. But I need 10 games out of Tyron Smith, playing at Tyron
So
Smith level.
you kind of gotta address that need sooner rather than later, because you're going to end up addressing three of those spots. Um, Tyler, Connor, and Tyron. Because Tyler Biotis he's gonna be like a stopgap kind of guy. He's not gonna be the answer, but he'll serve a need.
I I don't I
He
don't
will
I don't
eventually
believe.
be the weakest
Okay.
spot on the line. But is he gonna be the long term answer? Probably not. He's not gonna be the second coming of Travis Frederick. But he's also not going to be what we thought he was, or what he looked like in his rookie year. Um,
See, that's a that's a that's a that's a that's a B and C side conversation, because
mhm.
I'm just to the point where I believe you got to get time in this league. You got to be able to get your body and get stronger. But I also believe at the end of the day, the greatness of Travis Frederick was given more um, adoration and love because he had not two good guards, he had two above average guards. He got a guy on one side of him that every year he's been in the league, he's been all pro.
Yep.
All pro. Every year he's been in the league, he's been all pro. And then he turned around and had another guy who turned around and had a good 3-4 year stretch with you. And then he went somewhere else, and then his body broke down.
Mm-hmm.
See, it's always to the point where the guys that we shook the dice on early in the draft that we didn't sign in free agency, they went and got their bag, and then their body broke down, and we look like geniuses. But we can't negate the fact that those guys played great for us. And I think that's
I
the
agree.
problem that we have with that. But going back to what you said, Mike McCarthy, he is the captain on the Titanic. He is going to have to right this ship as it goes down. The problem is it wasn't an iceberg that did it to him. It was the cats in the engine room who blew up the engine that got him to this point. And that's why they opened up the hatches and let the water in. So we're in a point right now, man. We can sit and discuss this all night, but it's 11 o'clock at night, and we always burn the midnight oil, you know?
Yeah.
And so me and you can go back and forth. We can talk about it. We can spin it and spin it, but it don't matter what we think. It matters what everybody else thinks. That means those are the people who are taking time to hit the like button. Those are people taking time to watch us to this point. Those are people that take the time in the next couple of days to put a comment at the bottom and tell us what you think. But at the end, that's what we care about, man. Because here at Frankly Football, man, it's you, the people who kick it and rock it with us, that make us special, man. So, like I said, hit the like button, man. Subscribe, holler at us, hit us on Twitter at Frankly Football, man, and let us know how you feel, man. Because at the end of the day, it's about how we grow and keep this dialogue going, man. Hey, man, I'm your dude, man. Set it off, Chris, and I'm kicking with my man Brandon, man. And as always, we are Frankly Football. Peace.
Peace.